But I think he missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. And I think that Mamdani is the one you need to hear from tonight. There are a lot of people trying to figure out, can I get on this train with him or not? Is he going to include me? Is he going to be more of a class warrior even in office? I think he missed a chance tonight to open up and bring more people into the tent. I think his tone was sharp. I think he was using the microphone in a way that he was almost yelling. And that's not the Mamdani that we've seen on TikTok and the great interviews and stuff like that. So I felt like it was a little bit of a character switch here, where the warm, open, embracing guy that's close to working people was not on stage tonight, and there was some other voice on stage. That said, he's very young, and he just pulled off something that's very, very difficult. And I wouldn't write him off, but I think he missed an opportunity to open himself up tonight, and I think that will probably cost him going forward.
Imagine that. You elect a guy, and he suddenly is different than who you elected.
Well, it's funny that a card-carrying communist, by his own admission, Van Jones, is calling out a card-carrying communist
Exactly
for acting like a communist in his microphone, in his speech.
I know, and can you believe it that he would act one way during the campaign, and the second he gets elected, holy shit!
I mean, he hasn't even taken office yet. I mean, the city council, in case people are wondering, is to the left of Mamdani. So I think the first thing he should do is change his name from Mamdani to Mandami. That would allow people to pronounce it correctly, because nobody, like Kamala, like these crazy names, like Barack, like Obama, the American people cannot pronounce these crazy names. And if he would change, and I'm half kidding, of course, if he would change his name to Mandami, look how easily that rolls off the tongue, Hunley.
No, I think that's a great idea, and then he can always correct everybody, or they can be corrected, and immediately, people are on the back foot. It's like, it's Kamala, not Kamala.
Demi Moore became Demi Moore years into her career, and Martin Scorsese became Scorsese years into his career. I mean, there's people who are changing their names all the time. I think Mamdani is so hard to pronounce that I urge him to immediately go down to the courthouse downtown New York and change his name to Mandami.
I agree. And remember when it was Iran, and now it's Iran?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's plenty of examples.
Oh, God. Anyway, well, that's what I have to say about that election. And in Virginia, possibly even worse, we elected a spook.
Well, not just a spook. She apparently nobody cares. There's now 3 Democratic spooks that are in power now, including Spanberger. You've got this Alyssa Slotkin out of Michigan, who was a CIA agent. And you've got Malinowski, the strangest one, Tom Malinowski, former CIA agent, who used to run Madeleine Albright. He was her speechwriter, and he was born and raised in Poland. So you have 3 Democratic spooks now serving the American people. Nobody gives a shit to call it out. They might as well have been working at Budweiser as an executive, based on the amount of attention this is getting.
Yeah, and then you always have, good old Jay Jones. That son of a bitch actually got through too. It's like, oh, never mind. He can kill all the people he wants. He can say everything's perfectly fine.
Well, they are looking at his community service. This is an interesting angle. It was brought up on Two-Way this morning. His sentencing to community service for going 114 miles an hour through a 45-mile-an-hour zone. He was sentenced to community service, and he did the community service for his own super PAC. Yeah. Right. Okay. So apparently there's some letter of the law thing that could end up revoking his law license in the state of Virginia, which would then negate him being attorney general, because apparently you have to be a lawyer in the state of Virginia to be attorney general.
Well, that would be good. I mean, apparently, I don't know if you have to be a lawyer nationally to be attorney general, but I kind of would think attorney, you would have to be an attorney to be an attorney general.
I think it
But I
varies.
don't know. It's complex, you know.
Well, I
whatever.
mean, Dan said, good for them if they would give us another Democrat to replace him, which would make us feel better anyway. So it may not.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, he had a very good point. We'd rather get rid of this guy anyway. So
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's depressing. I think that the delegate, they had a terrible time too. So Virginia is now a Democrat supermajority.
Yeah, welcome to California, honey. Welcome to California. Apparently, they're now finally realizing on two-way and Mark and the gang that the Democratic nominee for president is going to be, as I've said, for 2 years, Gavin Newsom. I don't know why they woke up.
It's Mark who's been holding out, saying no, he's not going to run. His family's going to come through.
But there's been some tepidness even on Dan's part. You know, talking about Shapiro, talking about AOC, talking about Pritzker. But now it's come when they make a move, the Democrats, it's 100% of the human race, of their human race, makes that move. So you will see 100% of them begin to back Gavin Newsom for the nomination.
He made all the moves.
Yeah.
Slickly. I mean,
yeah, he's going to Dallas to hold a rally this week to celebrate the taking of 35% of the representation of the Republican and independent voters of the state of California away from them and making it down to about 4% with the success of Proposition 50 passing. That would allow, I think, two Republican seats in a 40 million person state that has over 40% Republican voters. But they're worried about the dictator Trump and the threat to democracy.
Yeah, and I was going to say, even Gavin Newsom, if you look at like the podcast he has, who was his first guest? Charlie Kirk. He couldn't have planned it even, any better than that. So he's good.
Alex Michelson, who I said to you was going to CNN, his first guest, Gavin Newsom. And as I predicted, that will be Gavin Newsom's show with Alex Michelson as the host.
All right. So do we have any good news?
Oh, that I don't know. Well, the Dodgers are the champions of the world, which I can coast on for months of good news fumes. So I'm good there for a long time. I just keep watching. You go on Instagram and it's just one video after another, as I go to bed smiling every night watching these highlight videos they put on Instagram. I just smile and fall asleep.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad
that's just me. I mean, it's every man for himself, but there is some good news. The former Dodger, former Met, former Yankee Darryl Strawberry has been pardoned by Donald Trump. Strawberry was a train wreck as a Met. I think he straightened himself out as a Yankee. I don't know what happened when he was a Dodger, but numerous arrests, a lot of drug abuse. He's been clean for about 10 years, running a Christian-based drug recovery operation, and Trump recognized that this morning by pardoning him of his previous crimes, which I think were tax evasion and a bunch of arrests for drug possession.
Well, isn't that kind of the perfect pardon situation where somebody truly turns their life around, helps other people, rehabilitates completely, and is a force on society that's good? That then it's like, okay, you know what? We'll give a nod. We'll say, we'll pardon. I mean, literally, it's in the word pardon. You're going to pardon your thing because you've been so good now.
No, I mean, he's already, served and done all the things necessary. This is a technical pardon. I mean, he's not in jail now. He did whatever he did and paid the consequences. So this is a pardon on paper for previous lifestyle.
Which I think is even better. And that's what I'm trying to say is that it's not like he's getting pardoned out of prison. He served his time and then turned his life around and continued to do great work. So it's a way of giving him his name.
Yep. And which is a great name, by the way, for sports. Darryl Strawberry, one of the great sports names of all time.
It is not bad.
Yeah, not to be confused with John Candy and his wife Rose Candy, who have again I love these names that real people's names that are not showbiz names. Like Cornelius Chase was Chevy Chase's real name. There are real names out there of people who didn't change their names. And then there are those, who like Alan Koenigsberg would change it to Woody Allen on purpose, and rightfully so.
You mentioned Rose Candy. She might have changed her name to marry him. So, it's like, do you pick your husband?
Oh, no, right. No, she changed it legally to marry him. Yeah, but that's just a great married name, Rose Candy.
Sure.
And then his whole family are Candies. I mean, it's not a made-up name. I thought it was a show business name.
Well, it was funny. My wife had like a childhood friend whose last name is Smith, and then there was another person she went to high school with whose last name was Smith as well. They got married.
I wonder if Smith married Wesson, would they be Smith and Wesson?
I don't know, but
yeah.
I know
it must have happened somewhere, Smith marrying Wesson, or something close to it.
Could be. All right, so on that front, got an issue with the airports going on right now. And I bring this up, and it's the main headline story because, we have an event coming up in very soon, just right around the corner. And I highly, highly recommend everybody get your plane tickets now. If you're going to be flying to the event, get your plane tickets now, because they're cutting out 10% of the flights that are out there right now. I don't know. Do you think Congress is actually going to push through this deal to fund things through Thanksgiving? It seems like there's...
Yeah, no, I think it's basically going to end in a couple of days. This is just my hunch. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think the food stamp thing is what's driving the train, not this. I think everyone will be okay for Dallas, but I think the food stamp part is going to cause everyone to have a come to Jesus moment and end this thing by next week.
Well, I hate to say, be cynical, but my theory is the Democrats managed to sweep these recent elections. So now they have no reason to hold out. They
were definitely holding out for the elections, as others have pointed out, right?
Sure. And it worked. I mean, the optics with the food stamps and everything just wound up being horrible. It is totally not fair. They managed to spin the BS line, but it doesn't look good when Trump's building a ballroom and then people aren't eating. It's just horrible optics, and I think it did work in their favor.
That's why I think he's going to stop it, and just from pure politics, I think it's going to end.
But on a happy note, we will be in Dallas, and it is coming up to 2 weeks from yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
At least I'll be flying in 2 weeks from today. We will be doing this show from Dallas.
Okay.
And we'll be running into folks there. Same thing again. Grab it now. And if you don't feel like going to the airports or whatever else, that's fine. There's virtual tickets as well. But you can
I think I'm going to get a virtual ticket and just and do it that way. Is there a way from... Hold on.
I don't know. All I know is I already booked my flight, so you better be there. I'll be hunting you down.
Hold on. I'm back. Okay. You'll find me. You'll find me. I'll be by the pool. I think it'll be a good show. I think we're going on Saturday night after the banquet dinner, so the people could eat at the trough and then watch the show after the banquet dinner.
Okay.
And I think there's also a lottery you could win. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I know. Last time we did it right before dinner.
I think this is after dinner.
After? Okay. Our presentation, we definitely want to have wiggle room because it's going to be a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So let them eat, because you don't want starving people waiting. I got to get to fucking dinner. I can't listen to these guys anymore. That's not a good show business motif.
Or there's the reverse where everybody is well fed and get nods off.
Well, they're not eating during the show, at least, and clanking their dishes and glasses.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. But QR code in the corner. If you're watching this on the TV, you can point your phone at the bottom right corner. Most important thing of all is what, Mark? What do they have to remember?
What is that Untold 10 thing, maybe?
Yep. Use the code Untold 10.
I think
to
there's
save
15
for
tickets left, they told me, Eric. So if you guys want to jump on this before it's sold out, there's about 15 left for our audience. So I would jump on it this weekend.
I would definitely jump on it.
Yeah.
And jump on everything. Now, I don't think there's only 15 virtual tickets. You could probably keep buying beyond that. So if you sell out on the physical, you can keep going on the virtual, but definitely get it. And I recommend booking a flight right now because there may be a few less tickets on the ground. Now, I just saw this today, Mark.
What?
I was kind of shocked. Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm trying to find the link to it. Hold on, the link opened my Apple News app instead of the webpage. Not cool. All right, here we go. This shocked me.
What?
The Farmer's Almanac is going away after 208 years.
What?
Yeah. It just
like that.
The 2026 edition is the last. And I'm like, come on,
that's insane. Was that like a phony news story or something?
No, this is real. And I think
about my corn? What about my crops? What about my farm?
I know, I agree. I mean, Ben Franklin, I believe, is the one who started this.
Wow, that's really bizarre.
And truly sad. I mean, that is an actual institution that is going away. And rest in peace. I you know what? I hope somebody injects money or buys it.
Or they could buy the name. They could buy the name.
And they could, or if they're shutting it down, maybe somebody will come through. I don't know. But while we're talking about institutions going away, that is obviously the most depressing news of all. However, there is some good news, and another institution's going away, and that's Nancy Pelosi.
Is she going to be replaced by her daughter, or by Scott Wiener, or by who up there in San Francisco?
Your state, you tell me.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Nobody knows. That's the point I'm bringing up. This is the Dianne Feinstein moment. She'll probably stay to the day they take her out on a gurney.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she's announcing she's not running again, but she's not leaving. She's got all those stocks to make money on.
Right, but she only has a 2-year term. So
yeah.
That means she's going to be out, 2027?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 more year of her, and yeah.
She'll die in office.
Maybe. I don't know. But
once they're carrying you around like that, like when the aides are lifting, that's at the very end, they begin, I've noticed historically, they begin to lift you up. That's usually the very end.
Well, we've got that with McConnell too, if you want to get on the Republican side.
Right. McConnell. Yeah, absolutely. And remember, Feinstein too. I mean, she didn't know where she was.
They rolled her.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't even lift her up and just roll her around.
They rolled her in. There's got to be term limits, not only of terms, but of age. I'm sorry. This is just the staffs are running these things with these incredible dead people who are now being propped up, for these weekend at Bernie congressional and senatorial seats because the staff is propping them up. They might as well be DOA.
Well, you see, I like the rolling around because you can have a remote control.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, like Dr. Strangelove.
The background, or like maybe you get an AI. Like a Roomba robot, just going around. You just put their hand on the joystick as if they're moving it.
Yeah,
and it just rolls around wherever you want it. Weekend at Bernie's, they had to prop him up and roll him, but technology is getting better. Let me see. We've got a follow-up on this very recent news. I've been gone for a minute, but Dustin Russell sent this to me earlier, regular watcher. NCAA revokes eligibility of 6 more college basketball players or the betting program.
Again, let me explain this for people at home. It's not about betting on sports, about the players losing money and are as addictive gamblers. And then the mob finds you as a vulnerable person, and they take you into their fold to wipe out your gambling debts. That's why you can't have legalized gambling in sports, because the players themselves will bet on the games, and then to have their massive debts alleviated, they become compromised.
The problem, though, Mark, is it's not only the gambling on the games. Like Francis was talking about, you get those honeypot scam poker games, and they run,
Oh yeah,
a huge debt somewhere else.
That's
and
a
they're
separate issue. That's a separate thing. I'm just talking about sports
Mhm.
betting, how it leads to these people being vulnerable, who are the players, who making 2 million or 5 million a year think that they're impregnable, but they'll intentionally be allowed to run up debts of
Sure.
2 to 5 million by the mob intentionally, and then they are in a hole, and to be bailed out, they then are compromised.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And I don't know
paid
why
in full
nobody
that they
could
have
see
no
that. I don't know why nobody in the league saw that coming. You can't bet on baseball, but apparently NCAA and NBA, and I don't know about the NFL. Apparently they can.
Yeah, I don't know. And it is funny when you have a Francis talking about it. It's like he's back from the 80s here. I mean, we're not talking about, he's like, we've been doing it. His father did it. His grandfather was stealing.
Yeah, they let you run a tab. And
Yeah.
then of course, they once you're completely buried, then they say you can wipe out your tab by doing A, B, or C. And what is so complicated about this today? I don't understand why this is controversial in terms of figuring out what's wrong.
I mean, has anybody heard of On the Waterfront? And I mean, sports gambling's been. I mean, it actually precedes drug sales in the mafia.
Well, what I'm saying, it was illegal for a reason. I mean, look at Pete Rose. There's a reason he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I know you're saying he never bet on his team, but you're hoping that's true. And nevertheless, it's irrelevant, because they took a high-profile guy who bet millions of dollars on which pitcher was pitching, which inning he was going to do something, other games. He bet on all kinds of things addictively, including selling phony 3,000 hit bats to get more cocaine from the drug dealers. I mean, just a list of things that Pete Rose did. I know people think he was a great hitter, and I agree, but there's more to the game than just that. And you can ask Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah. I don't know if he did or not, but he did a lot of other a lot of other things. So, all right. You sent me this earlier. We've talked about Epstein's cellmate, who was a former cop. The dude was like really jacked. I've seen the pictures of him.
He was a murderer. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No question. I mean, he's
what was the guy's name? Tartaglia or something? He was from the Tartaglia family. He was a cop up in Westchester. If he had a long Italian name with a T. But nevertheless, this was the guy who originally tried to kill Epstein in his cell. There it is, Tartaglione. They originally tried to kill him in his cell with this guy. They then said, nah, he tried to do it himself. And even though the guy's marks were around his neck, it was interrupted at the time of the attempt by Tartaglione, whose trial came up a month later. And because it was unsuccessful, they threw the book at him. If he had been successful, I think he would have looked for a sentence reduction, which was what the plan was for him personally. And he was sentenced to whatever the max was for his killings. So it didn't work out, but he sure as hell tried, Eric.
Yeah. And apparently he is coming out saying that an offer was made by or to Epstein. So very, very interesting.
Well, the offer was made to him about Trump trying to do anything they can from the prosecutors.
Right, but also the prosecutors offered Epstein a deal.
Right, but how would he know? How would he know that?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, his only personal connection is what they offered him. He doesn't know what the prosecutors offered Epstein. That's way out of his purview. But again, this is a convicted murderer who was a police officer up in Westchester. So who knows what he knows?
Yeah, well, he's claiming that Epstein told him that.
Right.
Who knows on that?
Yeah.
I shared a story a while back, and another person sent this in. Scott H. Sent this to me. I always find it interesting. We had another drone arrest in Washington State Prison now. So this is a new MO.
To smuggle the drones in?
Right. Yeah. If you think about it, you need to get contraband inside the prison.
Yeah.
And one of the easiest ways would be to have a drone, right? It flies over and then it just drops it. Now, the problem is, unless the people running the prison are in on it, or
Right.
like the guy, somebody's going to go, what's that thing they're flying in the sky? Oh my. Well, apparently they saw a drone and they were looking, there was a vehicle nearby and they said, oh, and the vehicle suddenly speeds away. And they said, you know what? Maybe we should go get that vehicle. And they chased it down. So kids, don't use drones to smuggle contraband into prison. It's very bad.
Well, there's a drug rehab called Impact over here, which I went undercover in for a story. And it's a very prison-like, has high walls, and has a lot of convicts on parole, on probation rather, and they get sent back to prison all the time for violating that situation. But one of the rules they had in the rehab when I went in there undercover was no fruiting. And I said, what the hell is no fruiting? And they said, you're not allowed to pick up any fruit off the grounds. And I said, why is that? And he says, because their friends fling the fruit over the wall and inside of the fruit is heroin or amphetamines or cocaine. I went, what? And they said, yeah, so if you pick up any of the fruit, you're immediately remanded into custody. Not me personally, but whoever was picking it up. I was undercover. But I went, no fruiting. What the hell does that mean? And this was before drones, Eric. They were just flinging them over the wall. But the drone, could drop it, like you're saying. But you could go on the street of Pasadena, where Impact is, and throw grapefruits and oranges over the wall, and inside of it is drugs. So hence, no fruiting is allowed.
Well, and I can see where it'd be sort of obvious. It's like, there's no orange grove here.
No, but there were trees, because it's Pasadena. There were orange trees in there.
Were there? Okay.
Yeah, they really were. And they said,
okay, can you imagine the frustration then?
Yeah.
For you're trying to find your bit, and there's like 50 oranges that actually fell from the tree.
Right. If you pick them up, that's considered fruiting. Yeah.
You can imagine the frustration of going through all of them.
I think that's where the scheme originated, because there were orange trees on the grounds.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Scott H. How would you know which one is the right orange? I'd be out there for a while. Boy, he seems to really like fruit.
Yeah, look at him. Well, they don't want you making pruno either inside the rehab or inside the prison, which you can with fruit. If you let it distill long enough, you will have an alcohol drink.
Well, it's like
pruno.
It's like bathtub gin and.
Well, bathtub gin is actually in a bathtub, stirring it in with chemicals. But with pruno, you usually seal any fruit remnants into a Ziploc plastic bag and put it in the toilet and just let it stew down there for as long as possible till it becomes alcohol. And then you have an alcohol-based drink.
Yum.
Well, I'm not saying it's a great drink, but it is better than nothing.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Where were the droning?
We learned about keistering last week. Now we're learning about pruno this week.
You know, I like pruno and fruiting better than keistering. Okay.
Okay.
So
it's all part of the
moving
same,
up the scale.
all part of the same culture. So we're just covering different areas of prison culture.
All right. Well, there you go. You know where they might have had better luck doing the drones? Maybe at the Louvre. Apparently, at the Louvre, the password for their security camera system was Louvre.
Oh, that's easy to remember. Thank you. You
No,
don't want any complications when you're trying to get that password in.
I know. You know, it is better than using password as a password, but only marginally.
You know, it's so funny. Italy has a different approach. When you go to the Uffizi Gallery, there are Italian soldiers all around with Uzis, walking around armed to the teeth, showing you what's going to happen if you touch one of those paintings. There is an intensely visible armed presence at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence.
Well, I believe it. I don't know if
I don't know about the Louvre. I've been to the Louvre. I don't remember seeing any police there.
Well, some take it more seriously than others. Like I don't know if this is still true, but back when I went to high school, I won't say back when, but they were talking about in Germany that when the police, even if you're on the Autobahn, wherever it is, if the cop says stop, you stop like immediately, or they just start firing. They don't play around.
They're stopping Christmas now. There's an article in the paper today. Germany has canceled Christmas due to Islamic complaints and possible Islamic terrorism. So they're erring on the side of caution by ending Christmas this year. And
how nice!
Yeah, that's kind of when the Germanic people are ending Christmas. You're in for a tough ride.
All right. Well, on the reverse end of Germany, I don't know if you I don't know if you saw this, and I don't even know what to think about it because it's yay, and this guy is all over the place. So I'm like, I don't know. Does he have an album coming out?
Who knows? He's mentally ill. I mean, this may be to sell an album. Who knows with this fucking maniac?
It can be, and he
look at the guy in the middle. The guy in the middle looks. How the hell did I get in this photo? I'm like, the other guy looks like he's Greek Orthodox or something.
Yeah, the other guy's some rabbi Shuli or something like that. I don't know what.
I don't know, but what's that red drink there? What is that about?
I don't know. I don't know, but I guess Kanye is saying that his bipolar makes him say everything crazy.
And, Mel Gibson tried that when he was drunk too. I mean, it seems like anytime anybody gets crazy or drunk, they yell out anti-Semitic things, which is odd because there's a lot of stuff you can yell out, but it's always consistently the same themes.
That's true. At least it seems to be with some group. Again, I don't know what to. I don't know what to think because Kanye he has bouts with lucidity. I guess that's the way I'd put it. Like every once in a while, it's like, hey, Kanye's sane for a minute.
Yeah, for a minute.
Oh, there he is.
Well, maybe the drugs are working perfectly for an X amount of time, and the stars align, and he's on the meds, and then he goes off of them, which is very common with bipolar people.
That could be.
Yeah, when you're bipolar, the manic high is like telling someone who is high as a kite on coke to stop using coke while they're as high as a kite. They're in a manic phase, and it's the greatest feeling in the world. The other phase, the depressive phase, is the worst feeling in the world. So when they're manic, it's like they're on, a gram of coke and having a great time, and then it swings the other way.
Right. And why did we move away from it? Because I think bipolar used to be called manic depressive.
Oh, I don't know why they changed it. But the fact of the matter is there are drugs that are extremely effective. It used to be lithium, but now Depakote and others are extremely effective, but they don't like the stability of the drugs. What I'm trying to say is, they like that manic coke-like high. And so they go off of Depakote. It used to be lithium, but it was a weight gainer in girls. So they switched to Depakote. And there's others. I mean, I think Seroquel is one, but nobody likes that flattened affect. They like the manic high.
Yeah, all right.
It's just that it's not sustainable. You go crazy, you start ordering stuff on Amazon, you start taking your clothes off, you do manic things, and the next thing you know, you're depressed, Yeah,
it's like a crash almost. It seems. So I don't know. But while we're talking about manic or at least something, remember the DOJ worker who hurled.
You want to explain this to me? This is like jury nullification, Eric, is what I would call it, right?
Probably. Yeah, that was in DC, right?
Yeah. So. Well, it's symbolic of what you can't get away with if you're the Trump administration and what you can get away with if you're opposed to them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is now okay. Smashing a officer in the face with a loaded sandwich. This is now okay. I mean, can you throw hot coffee on them? Can you dump Jello on their heads? I mean, at what point is it a crime, Eric?
No, I agree. Can
Yeah.
you spit on them? I mean,
Apparently you can. That's what the
I
jury,
remember the days that
jury
you
said
spit
that.
on a cop, you were beat the hell down.
Well, the problem is the jury and the jurisdiction. So you
Right.
either have to find a new jurisdiction and say that DC is not a state, so we have to move to a state. That could be one answer to the problem.
But it
And
took place in that jurisdiction. That's the problem.
right, but it can be construed as not a real jurisdiction, is what I'm trying to imply, that it's a not a state. Or you could say that jury nullification is occurring and that you could be more vigilant in jury selection.
Right, but here's a couple more problems while we're black-pilled. If you move it to the state, well, that would be either Virginia or Maryland. Oops.
Anything,
You're gonna
and I'm
result.
just coming up with a hypothetical situation.
Sure.
But anything would be better than the District of Columbia, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is depressing. And those who are saying at least he lost his job, wait.
Not so fast. Not so
He's
fast.
going to probably sue to get it.
He's going to sue to get his job back.
Yeah.
And he will win because he was
will.
acquitted. No, think about it. He's trying to get his job back, not at McDonald's, but at the Department of Justice.
Right.
So they're going to say we have to err on the side of judicial restraint.
I don't know what the policies are internally, but you can do things that are not technically crimes and get fired from your job, even though you won't go to prison or anything else. So I don't know for sure, but
well, he hasn't sued yet. I'm just predicting he will. So we'll see. We'll follow the story and see what happens.
I'm sure he will sue.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, nobody said anything yet.
Right, and I'm sure somebody will fund it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, just for the lulz, if you will. All right. Well, while we're talking about nuts, Maine has elected a woman convicted of killing a Canadian tourist to city council
with sand. She did it with sand.
How? Suffocate? Oh my God, that's cruel.
She did it. Here she is. She did it with sand. And again, they don't get into the physics of how she did it. I think she buried him alive in sand. Again, this is a couple of years back, so I don't know the exact story, but it's the same city, the same town that was used by Stephen King in a couple of his insane stories, especially It. It was the fictional Maine town. Is that right?
Derry. Probably.
Yeah. She apparently killed. There she is. Yeah. They had a fight, and I don't know how. She served 10 years behind bars. So she came out, and now she is one of our rulers. She is now ruling over us because she murdered someone and did 10 years in prison. So they said she should be our ruler.
I'm flabbergasted just on the basic level. She's obviously a felon.
Yeah. No law against it in Maine. No law against that in Maine.
Which I guess
we
already got problems. We already got problems about, we need to say, hey, citizen, you need to be a citizen, but for God's sake, you don't have to be a citizen. You could be a freaking felon. It's like, so what? Anybody can be in there? That's
apparently they have no law in the state of Maine stopping murderers from becoming your ruler.
I'm blown away. I mean, does that mean that this woman here could potentially get elected in Maine, who decided to behead her baby daddy?
Absolutely. She could run for governor of Maine at this time and dominate the polls.
She got the right look, right?
Yes, she got the right look. They seem to be mostly Democrats who do this. I think she was the one. She doused them in chemicals and set them on fire or something. But doesn't stop you from being the ruler over the American people.
Yeah, I think she at least had the courtesy to not remove his head before dousing and everything.
Yeah, that's
by the way,
folks, usually crystal meth. Usually crystal meth.
We have to be super, super careful. One of our most popular episodes ever recorded is now adults only on YouTube. And that was did LBJ kill JFK? The lead up YouTube has not only demonetized the video, but made it to where you have to click agreeing that you are 18 years old to even watch the video.
Whoa.
So,
And
oh,
Dershowitz said he's moving out of New York finally
is he?
because of the mayoral race.
Well, it took him. I mean,
Yeah,
long enough. I mean,
it took him long enough. Yeah. Wow.
Good luck on that. I don't know.
Now, let me ask you, do you think that the Secret Service director should be chosen or confirmed by the United States Senate or
No.
picked by the president? What's your take on this or position?
I think it's kind of bonkers because the Secret Service director is in charge. Well, there is more to the department than presidential protection, but I feel like the person who's the ultimate protectee, the president, should be able to say, I want this person because I feel safe with this person, not you, Senator idiot, John Smith, whoever the F you are.
Yeah.
That's getting ridiculous. And the point is to protect them. Now, if you want to say, okay, we want to splinter it off and say the investigative arm of the Secret Service gets rolled into the FBI and that's got to be confirmed, fine. But as far as the protective aspect of it, I think it's ludicrous. How can you say that?
No, it's in the news today. John Solomon reporting that today. Also, the fire commissioner of New York resigned this morning. He was Jewish and felt he couldn't serve in a Mamdani administration. I don't know what's going to happen to Tish, who is the police commissioner. She's done a very, very good job, according to many cops in New York, from the Tish family, a very wealthy old family in New York. I don't know if she's going to resign, but I presume, and many presume, he will be appointing a Muslim chief of police and a Muslim fire department head, as per his
for Sharia law, dude. So yeah,
as per his ability, as I've argued against for 5 years, that mayors should not be allowed to handpick a general to run an army within a city, and should be allowed to the police department itself should determine who the hell their police chief is, not Mamdani. But that being said, look for a Muslim police commissioner in New York City. Fire department probably the same thing.
Yeah, Armad is saying that the rumors are that Tisha is going.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, she's going to go, and she's done a great job, by the way. At first, I was doubtful, but the rank and file have all told me that she's done a wonderful job.
Well, the crime did seem to suddenly drop a lot under Adams, so that was one good thing he did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now here's somebody who maybe he'll be resigning, maybe he won't be resigning, but this guy.
Yeah, what's going on? This guy, who is this guy? I mean, this is the equivalent of the Brookings Institute on the left, the Heritage Foundation. It's the biggest right. Am I wrong, or that's a good analogy?
Yeah. Brookings Heritage. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're polar opposites, but they are the big think tanks on the left and the right. This guy felt an incredible urge to come out and support Tucker Carlson for reasons that nobody can understand.
There may be a reason, but
what's that?
There may be a reason. So
I'm saying I didn't read a reason for him all of a sudden having to do this, but
apparently Tucker has been running an ad campaign, or Heritage has been running an ad campaign with TCN, and the question, there's a huge non-disparagement clause in the campaign that's tied together, so he might be financially obligated to come out and defend Tucker. I don't know for sure, but that was one thing that was pointed out. I'm like, that could make sense, or could be possible. But
well, the organization is completely in disarray right now.
Oh yeah,
and in free fall. And I've never seen a scandal with the Heritage Foundation in my life.
No.
People don't agree with their politics, but I've never seen a quote unquote scandal.
No, because they're a staid organization.
Yeah,
they're not. They're not. They're very old school.
Right.
like Buckley, kind of, William Buckley, all that very low key, but I don't know. It's really crazy to see the situation with Tucker platforming, Nick Fuentes, and then people then getting mad when people are saying, "Hey, you're platforming a Nazi," and that's putting a label on me. It's like, well, hold on now. There is a time you can use the term Nazi when the guy says, "I'm Team Hitler." What would that be?
I don't know.
My cat agrees with that.
Even Meow Face agrees that Fuentes is a Nazi. I think he said he was a Nazi.
Yeah, see, he's very Gizmo. Good God, he's very upset.
Very upset when he hears Nazi, he goes crazy.
I don't blame him, but I just find it hilarious that you have these people who are like, how dare you? And they're going through hoops over Tucker Carlson. Megyn Kelly is stammering every which way. What are we doing?
Well, like I said, it reminds me of the Lindbergh situation with America First in 1940. They called for isolationism. Europe was about to explode in 1940. He was flying over and getting medals from Goering and from Hitler. He was the American equivalent of Neil Armstrong, in terms of an astronaut or, a pilot. And he led this Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden, throwing up a Sieg Heil. And was the leader of the America First movement. You don't understand, Mark. It's America First. I do understand because I remember history. I remember what happened in 1940, and I remember Hitler giving Lindbergh medals and having his picture on his desk. I do remember. Unfortunately, the people who are involved in the situation now do not know American history, and they don't know what this led to in 1940 and 1941. But I guess we're going to have to find out the hard way.
I saw something interesting earlier. Konstantin Kisin was pointing out he read there was like an essay or something that was written about how the reason people repeat history is they only remember 2 generations.
Yes, I've heard that before.
And it really kind of makes sense because it's not only obviously Fuentes thinks that, oh, he's edgy, this and that, and he wants to burn it down, everything. But what are we doing? We're electing a actual communist in charge of New York. I mean, everybody's like, hey, let's try this communist experiment. This seems like a great idea.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, the communists, their arch enemies are the Nazis. So you now have these 2 camps forming again, like 1932 in Berlin. The communists and the Nazis still fighting to the death. You've got Nick Fuentes and his group of Candace Owens and Tucker and Alex Jones on the Nazi right, who are pro-Hamas, anti-Semitic and anti-Israel on the right, and the far left communists back in power here. And you're going to see the fight pick up where it left off.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the point of the matter is, if asked to vote for the Nazi Party candidate or the Communist Party candidate, I will find it very difficult to vote for a candidate or a party that put my relatives into the ovens, a while back. So that becomes a problem for big Jewish money in the Republican Party. Really big Jewish money is telling me that they're not going to do anything about this unless Trump can crush this out. And he's yet to say anything because, as Eric knows, he likes to let people fight among themselves politically on his side before he does anything. But this thing is becoming a forest fire, Eric.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even, obviously, I don't like even dealing with it, talking about it, anything else. If I never heard the word about any of them, I'd be delighted. And those who are saying, no, Tucker doesn't support Hamas. No, Tucker literally said, I don't see them as a terrorist organization. They're a political organization.
Yeah. It's hard to paint him clean any longer. He's made done too many episodes, too many shows. There's too many samples out there of things that Tucker has said.
And why do we care? Well, because he is incredibly influential.
Yeah. He's sitting next to Trump at the convention.
Absolutely. And when you see all these people bending over backwards, saying, "Oh, hell, no, don't say it about Tucker." It's like, well, why? Why? Because he's influential, because he is a powerful figure. Otherwise, they would just say, "Meh, whatever, toss him under the bus." He wouldn't have any relevance whatsoever. But
Well, I think this entire battle is for the heart and soul of J.D. Vance, because that's the future of MAGA, whether they like it or not. In 36 months, this man, J.D. Vance, and Rubio said he's not going to run against him for the Republican nomination today. J.D. Vance is the future of the MAGA movement. Tucker's son is now a chief advisor to J.D. Vance. So you've got the anti-Semitic Nazi influence there. I don't know where the rest of these people go. Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly and Nick Fuentes, they become the cabinet of J.D. Vance. It's very problematic.
Yeah, and I don't know either.
The reason the Jews were in the Democratic Party is because of, just to give you a brief history, in the 1950s, George Lincoln Rockwell and the American Nazi Party was on the far right, as was the John Birch Society was on the far right, virulently anti-Semitic. Jews migrated to the Democratic Party until Obama, and then Obama turned against Israel and sided with Iran, so Jews began to migrate back to the Republican Party. That's how Trump ended up with a lot of Jews voting for him and a lot of Jewish money. Now, with this turn of events, they are going to pull their money out of the Republican Party. They are not going to vote for or put money into a party that supports Nazis. It's just not going to happen. I can't explain how deep it goes in the Jewish culture. It's just not going to happen. And that'll lead to the loss in the midterms and the beginning of impeachment immediately for Trump and the end of his administration. So that's the game they want to play, unless he puts this fire out quickly himself. I think he doesn't want to, because I think he wants them to vote for him, and he's willing to sacrifice to get that group. It could be purely pragmatism on his part.
Well, and by the way, a couple of those, because I do want to address, there's always the counterclaims and all that, and now Tucker is kind of going on this quasi apology round because he went after Christian Zionists. So he slipped. He went a little bit too far. He didn't just say Zionists. He suddenly said Christian Zionists. Now supposedly he's Christian, so you can't say bad things about Christians. So he's had to backpedal slightly on that. But now he's also saying, hey, there's no problems in Nigeria. What are you talking about? And so we have, here's someone from Nigeria.
My people, my family members, they died in this house. 11, and some died in the other store. 8, some died here. My whole family members that died yesterday, day before yesterday, on that very day, there were 20. That is my own family members. I'm not talking about any other thing. That is my own family members. This is my store. Those shops are my stores. Those places are being burned.
Please walk.
Those places, this place is being burned. Here and up, my house is up there. That place also is burned. And the store where I pack my goods, I store my goods everywhere, is burned.
Now I am not.
Is he saying bombed?
Burned.
Oh, burned. I'm sorry.
Burned.
Yeah.
And okay, and I'm not there. I don't have percent, but I'm just saying there's a lot of actual reportage from that area who was saying, yeah, you know what? They're not having a good time. And maybe it's unfair of me, but if I look at every other country that has had a sudden shift in their demographics to a Muslim majority, the Christians and the Jews seem to vanish. Am I wrong? I mean, can you find a counterexample of any country that has become a majority that the populations of the minorities have actually grown? Or am I missing something?
No, I don't think you are. But I mean, if the face of MAGA becomes Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones and Candace Owens, there's going to be a lot of people leaving that party.
Well, the problem is that they're not the face of MAGA. I don't believe that. I think they're wrapping themselves saying, hey, we are MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
And but that doesn't necessarily make them that. And this is more
Well,
proof.
their numbers make them that. Their millions of followers that they have makes their prediction true because of just the sheer number, Eric, of followers that they have. I mean, these numbers are off the charts.
Yeah, sure, they have a lot of followers, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily. And I do think we are. It's even more of a case of how important Charlie Kirk was. Charlie Kirk was kind of a bulwark against the Fuentes. He was sort of the Gen Z. They're both from Chicago, and Kirk was very Christian oriented of being a good father, family, blah 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 blah. Very, very pro-Israel. His getting wiped out, getting killed.
Is Nick Fuentes the head of Turning Point USA now, as he claims?
No, he's not. But I'm saying that when you look
he's claiming that he is. I don't know where does
he claimed that before Charlie Kirk died.
Right.
What
is his connection?
Died, so.
I don't understand his connection to Turning Point USA.
They're mortal enemies. Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes are both from Chicago,
right?
Opposite ends of the right, battling for the soul of the right, if you will.
Right.
Nick Fuentes made this claim, and this is before the assassination. I want to be fair, saying that his influence, his groypers, that he was polling the people and really was in charge or whatever. But I don't know if you saw this segment. It's a brief clip from an interview, but I thought it was kind of amusing. And this is with Candace. She came up.
When you say you believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by someone close to him, what do you mean?
Judas?
I think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of financial reports that are coming out. And I, first and foremost, do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I want to be very clear on that.
Okay.
Whether he was involved, I think the answer is yes. I think that's obvious.
And your basis for saying he didn't act alone is what?
I don't know, maybe the weird Fed messages that were concocted out of thin air that had
Can
no
she be
timestamp
called before the
and
grand jury and asked to give her information in the murder case against Tyler Robinson, Eric? I mean, if you're claiming publicly that you have information of a guy who's about to go on trial, did not commit the murder, and you claim to have information, I think you could be subpoenaed before a grand jury.
Maybe, but just keep watching because this person does a good job of cutting through some of the noise.
Were concocted out of thin air that had no timestamp and were written like they were speaking in 1822, among other things. Their lack of an ability to answer any basic questions about what took place.
But do you have any proof that the messages were made up? Because that would be easily proven.
Yeah, but they didn't put timestamps on them, and Discord came out and said they didn't exist.
This was supposedly text messages, not Discord messages. It's my understanding from the indictment.
Yeah.
I actually did not read that they were text messages.
The indictment calls them text messages.
Oh, Jesus.
What would it be like the feds are like on a computer, typing it out back and forth?
That's exactly what it is.
That's what I said.
The feds made up the text messages.
But you don't have anyone from like the FBI telling you that, or law
I have
enforcement?
leaks.
Okay. Let's hear where they are on the road.
And Tyler Robinson
has anyone said to you, even off the record, like, yeah, we faked these?
I have very strong sources everywhere on both sides.
All right. She has to be called before a grand jury.
Yeah.
You can't do
She's
this.
not answering, though, dude. She's not actually.
She's saying she has sources claiming that they created.
But she didn't finish the sentence. She just said she has sources.
Okay, let's hear what the sources are.
Anyway, well, you technically have.
Because when we keep talking about evidence, it's like, who's going to present that evidence? Like the mainstream media? Like who are you expecting to come out?
That would be a hot story.
No, it wouldn't be.
It would be.
It wouldn't be.
If the FBI, like if I had a source telling me, like if I had proof that the FBI faked those messages, that would be an enormous story.
Big one.
I kind of feel like we live in a post-Epstein world, and we know how stories get shut down. And
She's so full of it. I'm just saying, it really shows. She's dancing around, and again,
I don't think it's around. I think it's quite subpoena material, claiming if any other person said this, not Candace Owens, anybody saying this, they could be subpoenaed and questioned before the grand jury. All through history, this has happened. I mean, she could claim, I'm not going to give you the information. That's up to her. I mean, she could be in contempt of the grand jury, but she's broadcasting this with, is the girl work for CNN? That other girl?
The one who's interviewing her, yes,
Right,
is a
right.
CNN, which, by the way, what are you doing on CNN there, Candace? It's very, 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 very interesting place to show up. You know that they're not going to be great. But then Candace is also out there marching, tickled to death that that Trump is losing these elections, that the Democrats won. She's thrilled.
Yeah.
Tucker Sewell, it's very confusing.
Again, I'll say it again. Trump has to go on national TV at prime time and give a speech against anti-Semitism, a fireside chat, not a rambling discourse on the back of a plane, not talking off the cuff in a gaggle. He needs to give a primetime address and drive a stake through the heart of these vampires before this fire spreads, completely engulfing him as well.
I think Reagan did at one point, right?
Yep.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. I understand he likes to have them fight it out. I get that. But this fire is now engulfing everyone around him, including J.D. Vance. He has got to address this nationally. He can talk about the international aspects of it, whatever he wants to talk about. But he needs to give a speech with one theme, not 17 themes, one theme, and go on national TV and give it.
Right, and everybody who's saying free speech, we're not saying deplatform. Tucker will always have a platform. All these people always have a platform. It is a matter of saying, hey, this isn't cool.
No, it's beyond that. Your free speech leads to the death of my relatives. Look at the synagogue in Pittsburgh and ask him how much free speech he had when he killed everyone at the synagogue in Pittsburgh. You don't give a shit because they're not your relatives. I understand. You love free speech in the abstract sense because it's abstract. But Tucker has advertisers. He's obviously taking money from international sources like Qatar and places like that. And Trump has to denounce this guy instead of saying kooky. What did he say, Eric? Kooky Tucker?
Kooky. Yeah.
Big deal. It's not enough. He's got to drive a stake through the guy's heart. And I mean, like only Trump can do it. I mean, he's got Jewish grandchildren, Trump, for Christ's sakes.
And a daughter.
Yeah.
Well, she converted, I think so.
Right.
All right. Well, moving on to another fun-loving subject. The Ozempic guy.
Yeah, what was this about yesterday? This is a weird one.
Well, what
Thank God Dr. Oz was there.
Yeah, well, everybody's picking on Bobby Kennedy.
What did he do?
I don't think it's being fair. We'll go and watch, and then we'll just
all right.
And creating high-value jobs. But today we.
What?
You okay? Gordon, you okay?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, the CEO of the company that Ozempic or whatever, he collapsed, and Bobby, you could see, went out of the room, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at Bobby Kennedy! You know, something goes wrong. He's making an escape."
What?
Apparently, there's a protocol where it's like,
okay,
you go help, you go get help,
right?
And he was leaving to go get help.
Boy, that's a stretch. How many times have we seen these people faint at these events? Forget about the fact that he's a pharmaceutical guy. We've seen so many post-COVID fainters. I don't remember anybody fainting at a press conference or event when I was growing up ever. And yet it's time after time after time. And they always go, well, he was dehydrated. That's always, dude, I don't understand why this keeps happening other than post-COVID cardiac problems.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I mean, it has happened, but it's like once every 20 years.
Right.
Not like, oh, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. We haven't had a faint yet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we got the comedians going bonk, and you know,
right. I mean, you could put a montage together of 50 of these things.
Yeah.
That being said, interestingly enough, they have eliminated insurance for Ozempic in the state of California to pay for it on the same week that Trump has reduced the prices of Wegovy and Ozempic, and rightfully so. because they were so priced through the roof. Obesity is the biggest national health problem there is. I think many people would agree to that. I mean, we are the fattest country on the face of the earth. And with obesity comes all the other medical problems that we have to pay for that drive up the cost of medical insurance. By lowering the cost of Wegovy and Ozempic and others, I think Dr. Oz said collectively it may reduce the weight of the American people by 187 million pounds by election day. That was a weird statistic there.
I'm kind of in the middle on this because, okay, I think that somebody who is excessively, extremely morbidly obese, like if they're 600 pounds, like
well, there's
really,
not a
really
thing called excessively morbidly overly.
I just dubbed it. Okay, it is now a technical term.
Okay.
You learned it on Freeform Friday. It is our show, our language. So thank you very much. But you know what I'm talking about. There is morbidly
there's
obese.
There's a BMI number that's the cutoff. So there's an actual.
Yes, I know, but there is still, even if somebody is morbidly obese at the 35% or 40%, whatever. Right. I would say somebody at 50% or 60% is worse off, even though they both fall in it because there's just a scale. No pun intended. I hesitate because we see the damage that is being done by Ozempic for a lot of people, the Sharon Osbournes of the world, things like that, who are not necessarily in a critical path.
Again, we're talking about the bulk of American people, not celebrities abusing it. So you got to look at.
But you think they're the only people who are taking?
Yes, it's super expensive. It's super duper expensive, and nobody has access to it. To be generally honest with you, no one has access to it except celebrities at this point.
Well, and my argument though is still I'm uncertain, and I just don't want people to.
Well, both of us
are
not doctors, and nobody wants anybody to abuse anything. Eric is right. However, what Trump has done by reducing the cost has made this available to the bulk of the obese people in the United States, and I think that is a fantastically good thing. It's not they're going to sell it at Walmart. They're going to have a prescription to get it, and you're going to have to be the BMI number has to be a certain cutoff to get it. That being said, like I said before, Newsom has just banned it in the state of California to be covered medically through medical insurance for the state of California through Medi-Cal. And I thought, what a weird thing to happen in the same week. One group reducing the price to increase access, and the other group eliminating it from medical coverage at the same time. Two polar opposites happening regarding obesity. Do the Democratic Party officials want to keep their brethren, their voters, fat and stupid, Eric?
I don't know, but it's not dissimilar to Gavin Newsom saying, if you follow the federal mandate in order to get funding, then you're going to be banished from getting state funding. He does the opposite of whatever Trump does all the time, it seems, as a pattern. So I can't help but wonder, okay, if the feds are doing this, I'm going to ban
he
this.
Did it first. Not that it has any connection to what Trump is doing, but he may have had, there's so many overweight people in the state of California who now will not have access to it unless the federal thing will trump that through Medicare. But we'll see how it shakes out. But I thought it was weird that the same week these two opposite things occurred.
Maybe, and maybe he wants them to
move out of California?
Yeah.
Well, that's the entire state. That would be every Mexican in the state.
Oh, believe me, there are plenty of other states that have an obesity issue. As much as California, this is a universal American problem. So, especially in the South, if you really want, and I'm not trying to pick on because I love the South, but the southern United States, I think Mississippi and some of the have really the biggest percentages and problems. California is probably on the better end of things, sadly. But I don't know. Let me see. I've got one more. While we're talking about great politicians, here's the new mayor of Coeur d'Alene.
Oh, here's another one. Yeah.
And this guy,
what's this guy's thing?
He doesn't like Christians.
Okay.
And I'll let him express himself, and you can see if I'm misinterpreting.
They don't give a And I'm a Bible believing Christian. I believe in Jesus and it guides my life. As a Christian conservative, so
Whoa.
Christian family values, Christian conservative, mindless cult member, group thinking morons. Are you a pussy? You're a pussy. Christians, they tend to be the rudest, most disrespectful jerks I have ever seen. I seriously think if Jesus were here today, he would have a message for everyone who's a Christian, and he would just say, get the those racists and white supremacists. Gay. I felt really gay last night. Come over for a gay time. Really gay. Christian.
Is he nuts, this guy? What? This is the mayor of Coeur d'Alene?
It's white.
New mayor.
Nationalism. Real hardcore.
What happened to Idaho? When did it become New York City?
And to go to
I don't know. And I mean, keep in mind, Ruby Ridge is in Idaho. So there is a definite element in Idaho that, this guy's.
This is where by the way, this town is where most cops go to retire from the West. That town is filled with ex-cops. LAPD, San Diego PD, PD from California, and also from the states in Arizona and stuff. So I don't know what happened to this city.
I don't know either, because I mean, that's a place that I've wanted to visit because from the pictures, it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to have to talk to him. You're going to have to clear with that guy.
I'm sure I'll feel welcome. Anyway, you know what? You know what makes me feel welcome? Because we've gone through a bad time with the YouTube censorship, everything else.
Yeah.
Super chats make me feel welcome. And memberships like Jeffrey Dunham is a new member. And I thank you very, very much. And we have Dick Dickerson. They, as we mentioned in the story, Dick's been a member for 30. Wow, 1 month away, you'll have 3 years, Dick. That's amazing. But yeah, we did talk about the NYFD commissioner. A horrible, horrible situation. And Dick gifted 20 America's Untold Stories memberships. I appreciate that. I'm going to go and wait a second so that way Mark can see the chats as they come along. But yes, those who are asking, I did get a couple hats while I was in London last week. I'm still recovering from the trip, believe it or not. I'm not a big world traveler. This has been a new thing for me, but this is supposedly a 1930s working man hat, and I thought that it was appropriate to go ahead and wear this cap or hat, if you will. And I decided that Mark isn't the only one who gets to wear hats on the show. That, you know what?
Yeah, go for it.
And I grab a hat from London. Why not? As I was telling the audience,
Absolutely.
This is a 1930s working man hat. I got this in a 1840s working man hat.
Wow.
So no, I'm not going to wear this habitually, but
Wear it
Mark likes to wear hats
habitually.
every once in a while, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to surprise everybody. I'm going to wear a hat. And yes, I did see the comments about light reflecting off my head. Thank you very much. I always
Boy, these people are they're so warm and friendly.
Oh yeah. It's fun when they're like, oh,
well, I just want to say we had some technical problems, Eric and I, with this guy Bill Simpish the other day, because he was in the fucking Mexican jungle and didn't tell us. But the rest of the show goes on for 2 hours in case people could get past that first 20 minutes of technical problems. And on Tuesday, we're going to have Vince Palomara come back, and we're going to talk about the plot in Chicago for a big JFK show, and also the Secret Service, which is Vince's specialty. So that'll also be a good JFK show this coming Tuesday.
New book too, right?
Yeah, and we'll talk about the new book, and we'll talk about the Secret Service and the plot in Chicago. But the rest of the episode, despite the technical difficulties, by the way, if you're on this show, we have to check them out before we go on to see if they're in a jungle somewhere or outside in a desert. It's insane to me that these people do this and just go, "Why? Is there a problem?"
Yeah, but you know what? In fairness,
it's our fault. I mean, we should have checked the guy.
No. I've seen comment after comment after comment. people are saying, it was a great show. That,
Yeah, no,
that hung out. I mean, we covered the material you were going to cover with him. And
no, I know the material, so it wasn't that awkward for me. But this problem of the other person, the guest, not having the technical apparatus to do the show is just shocking to me. How many times this has happened to us, and we're not alone. I mean, but we're going to have to check them out before they get on the show. The guy lives in Oakland. I assume the guy would be in Oakland in an office as a lawyer, not in the fucking middle of Mexico somewhere in a jungle. I mean, call me crazy, but I was as surprised as anyone.
Well, I guess you'll have a checklist.
Yeah, I have a checklist now. Yeah.
All right. Dick Dickerson gifted 20 America's Untold Stories memberships coming through as usual. Thank you, Dick. We always appreciate it. George Toth. Zori et al. Will bring bad things to this country.
That's an understatement.
Already bad things there.
That's an understatement.
Dr. Evil 814. Nice hat, Eric. I mean that. Well, thank you.
Yeah, he's right.
Thank you. One thing I like about the hat too is the hat maker was there. I met him as an Italian, and it is a handmade hat, which is kind of nice. Charlie Don't Surf has been a member for 15 months. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Charlie. Thanks for being a member for all that time. Entry required. Question. Remind me which MAGA lost their seat, or which MAGA failed in their bid in blue, purple, or even a red state. People are off the rails on this. I know that the governor in Virginia, or the gubernatorial
that just happened.
She was not MAGA. She actually was Never Trumper, which didn't help.
That's true.
And all the Never Trumpers, the guy in New Jersey also trashed Trump, and he got smoked.
Right.
So it could be said, some of these Republican types, they were not MAGA. They were not pro-Trump. Let's see. Dr. Evil 814 got coffee. I do every morning. America's Untold Stories Supreme Breakfast Blend. Have I told you about our coffee, Mark?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
It is a tremendous flavor. I'm super happy to have it and have this Moondo's essentially as a sponsor. Every bag that you buy, we get a small percentage of our two blends, the Superior or Supreme Breakfast Blend or the Magic Bullet Blend, which the Magic Bullet Blend has a qualifier because it is unreal, just like the original Magic Bullet. It is very tasty. As I have said numerous times, you don't need cream with it, which I really appreciate. And I actually brought a couple bags over to England. And my friend Gavin is there, and he drinks, tea with cream and coffee with cream and everything else. I asked him, I said, please just try it without the cream. And he's completely hooked. And he's drinking it away with no cream himself. So please consider checking it out. There are links in the description, or you can always scan the screen. And it does help us out. I am very proud of that. Tractor Guy, Diffuse 56, gifted 10 America's Untold Stories membership.
Good guy. This is a good guy.
Hell yeah. Deeply appreciate that. Michael Gilbert with $20. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Love the show. We love you. You obviously love the show. Thank you for that support. That definitely means a lot. Scott Binbo. Have tickets to Lancer.
New plastic shoulder.
Got a new plastic shoulder.
What does that mean?
Ooh. Off the meds, but the warden wife says I'm not going. Help, please. I don't know.
What about, can he watch it on video? Or,
I'm sure that I'm sure he can get the virtual as well.
The virtual ticket is for people with plastic shoulders. It says so on the ticket.
I missed that. Okay. Well, we've met Scott. Scott was in California. Tom Woolley, Texas Tom.
Oh, he'll be there. He's like a regular.
Yeah. Well, he was there at the last Lancer we went to, and Tom Woolley again here. Mark, this week on What's Up with Laura Buckley, you covered John Belushi, and it was excellent. Check it out.
I did check it out. It was pretty good. The next week, another large comedy person, John Candy, will be the guest of honor. So that'll be fun. Who, like I said, Derek, it's a funny name to have Candy as your family name, but it's his real name.
Yeah. Let's see, JS. Wow. Compounding companies paid for it. Why is this paid for $100 a month to help millions? Had to stop due to patents, and it's helped me lose 40 pounds. Oh, okay, that must be about Ozempic.
Yeah.
My monitor's screwing up, and I'm having problems with reading.
I can read it. I mean, I saw it pretty clear.
All right, can you read them off the
I'll read it out loud. Sure. Great week for Bellucci and OKC coverage. Thanks, guys. That's the tractor guy for $10. On the JFK as it happened on NBC, the doctors clearly say JFK had an entrance wound in his throat. It has nothing to do with NBC. Yeah, the doctor who had the presser announced that in real time. The Secret Service then went around and confiscated local news coverage footage of the event, K-Dog. And I've never understood how that was legal and also why they turned it over and not get it back. But Secret Service immediately went around to local news stations in Dallas, confiscating all the filmed statements by the doctors.
All right. And let me see. Got one more MG 918.
Do a show on how the 2025 World Series was rigged. I wouldn't know where to start. It would have to be a very short show since it went 7 games and could have gone either way at the last minute. That's a tough way to rig a series. There used to be 9 games back in the days of the 1919 Black Sox, by the way. So you had to rig a bunch of games, and then you sort of need a few players to be on board. You don't need the whole team, as was pointed out in the movie 8 Men Out. You only need about 4 or 5 top players to really rig the series. But it becomes not an issue when you're making $20 million a year. The reason the 1919 White Sox scandal occurred was because they were being paid pennies and forced to paint the entire stadium with brushes in the off season. When a player is making 10 to 20 million a year, the motivation for money kind of dissipates to throw the World Series or any sporting event, except for what we saw with this gambling thing. There were guys who literally were paid $200,000 to fake injuries, and they were making 10 million a year. So go figure.
Wow, unbelievable. By the way, I got to share the screen. I had this queued up. People really blow my mind with just how stupid they are. These are some liberal women are so happy about Mondami.
Sharia law starts now. Absolutely. Zahran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York starts today, baby.
God, there is just something so electric, so satisfying about knowing that my MAGA parents, wherever they are probably having a horrible night tonight. Oh, I literally just got goosebumps thinking about it. Like they are.
She hates her parents. I don't know if that's a good video.
The fact that Zoran just won.
Why does she hate her parents so much?
Like, wow, God, I'm sorry. It just makes me feel good that my MAGA parents.
I mean, what did her parents do to her to make her hate her so much?
When the day starts with Dick Cheney being dead, it ends with Mamdani winning. Oh,
Can I just say that this is, like I've said on the show, all 20-something women. This is the contagion that is in American politics today. Far left 20-something women making videos on TikTok or at these protests. They're on the front line, and there's no cop in the world who's going to punch any of them in the face or take a nightstick to their heads. So this is a strategic move on the part of the left to put these women on the front lines. And also in foreign countries, especially in South America and in the Middle East, the women are on the front lines.
I agree. I also have to say how truly stupid are they? I mean,
yeah,
they're literally celebrating Sharia law. Do they even know what Sharia?
No, I do.
It is. It's on the scope of Gays for Palestine. I mean,
I said to you before, the joke I said many years ago, my mother was president of Jews for Hitler. She wasn't taking any chances in case there was a Fourth Reich. Now, that was a joke. But now it's actually become true with what Eric is saying with, Gays for Palestine and stuff like that.
Yeah, I sit there and I'm looking at that and I'm just going, I'm just going, well, I hope you enjoy your burqa. I mean, it's like,
it kind of reminds me of the Nazi-Soviet pact that Stalin and Hitler put together for a brief period of time. And the people who were anti-Hitler in Hollywood when the pact was signed, the non-aggression pact, all of a sudden became fans of Hitler in Hollywood. And you could read the comments of how they flipped to support Hitler because Stalin signed that brief non-aggression pact with Hitler. And then when it ended, they went back to hating Hitler. It's one of the great flip-flops on the left of all time. The pro-Hitler, anti-Hitler Soviet aggression pact with the Nazis. Fantastic to read about.
Mind-blowing. I did have this story. It's not Newsom directly. It's his wife. Apparently in the courtroom, she was asked to fake an orgasm.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the Harvey Weinstein trial.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me more.
I don't know. I don't know why this is a story now. I remember this during the Weinstein trial, that she claimed that one of his major donors, Harvey Weinstein, RAPED'd her, and she was testifying against Harvey Weinstein that he, despite being her husband's biggest donor, he did not drop him as a donor. And she claimed, I don't know why this is again a story now, but she claimed that she never told her husband that she had been RAPED'd by his biggest political donor. In other words, they said to her, why didn't your husband know about this? And she said, I never told him. And she said, the attorney incredulously said, you never told your husband you were raped by his biggest donor?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's a strange story.
Yeah.
But she's a strange person who comes from a Republican family.
Well, Kimberly Guilfoyle or whatever was with him prior.
Yeah.
So I guess he likes dipping into Republican. Well, they are nice.
Yeah.
Often. I mean, if you look at like the Fox News representation, there is some argument to be made there. I don't know, but you know what? For now, I think we're going to continue this discussion over on locals.
Then we could say what we want, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got to be really careful here, especially of late. God, it's frustrating. As always,
well, there's a box there you could check that says "not for children."
I do check that every single.
Okay, yeah, I do the same.
No.
Despite that, really?
Oh God, yes. No.
What does that box do? It doesn't do anything.
It's saying that there's two different levels. There is YouTube content made for children.
Right.
There's YouTube content that's adults only. Like, I don't know if you know this, they actually have nude yoga on YouTube.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. Nate, the lawyer, actually told me about that one. But anyway, so you have like literally naked people on YouTube, but that is adult only content. And then you have our content, or content is the middle, is not targeting kids, but it's not something you have to, keep kids away from.
Right.
When they do the 18 and up thing, though, they're elevating it into like we're some sort of a horrible, bad thing because of supposedly self-harm, which, ironically speaking, the subject you were talking about was Henry Marshall and how they try to make it look like he
It
had
was self-harm.
self-harm.
Yeah.
It was the exact opposite of encouraging self-harm. It was
I
literally saying,
remember.
it's bad. And I argued about it. I even found the AP or UPI story that showed that it got ruled murder later on.
Right.
That,
It was a preposterous self-harm story, the Henry Marshall story from the Department of Agriculture that Eric's referring to. He would have had to pretzel himself into creating this self-harm, which proved to be laughable.
Right. And ultimately, even the courts said, you know what? No.
Courts? Who needs those stinking courts? We're YouTube.
Yeah. There you
All
go.
right. Well, let's go over YouTube to locals, and we'll talk about this situation over there in private.
All right. We'll see everybody there.